our lesson for today. So remember, last time we talked about how the people from Jerusalem were told, you're free, you can go home. And this happened because a new king came, and his name was King Cyrus. And King Cyrus was the king of the Persian Empire, and he wanted all of his people to be happy. So he told them, you are free. He set all of the captives free. And on top of that, he gave back the treasures that were taken from the temple, so the people could go home and they could build the temple again, and everything was going to be good. So they were all happy and excited as they quickly got onto the journey and went home. On this journey, remember we said they were led by two people, Zerubbabel and Joshua, who was a priest. But when they got back to Jerusalem, there were all of these things that were wrong. Jerusalem had been destroyed. There were no buildings. All of them were destroyed. The temple was destroyed. The walls were destroyed. And now they became very sad because on top of all of this, their neighbors, the Samaritans, were unfriendly, and they did not want the Jews to come and build their city again. They did not want them there. And we learned that even though God keeps his promises, it doesn't mean that we will not face challenges. When we get to the next level, as promised, we will always face challenges. So now let's see what the people of Jerusalem decided to do after they got all of these challenges.
So when the leaders saw the terrible state of Jerusalem, they thought to themselves, what will we do? And they decided, we will set up a trust fund to put money to rebuild our city.
Yes.
And most importantly, they wanted to rebuild the beautiful temple.
Yes.
So first, they wanted to look for places to live. Remember, they had just come out of
Babylon,
and now they're looking for somewhere to live. So they wanted to build temporary houses, and Joshua and Zerubbabel did not want to wait till the temple was all done for them to worship their God. So they decided, we will set up an altar right here where the temple was, and that is what they did.
So remember, all of these things are happening at the same time. They've arrived, they need somewhere to stay. So they think temporary homes. But they also need to gather money. So they think, let's start a fund where people can give and give and give and give and give. And then they also do not want to wait to worship God. So they decide, let's build an altar. So while all of this is happening, the money in the fund kept on growing and growing and growing because everyone kept on giving money to the fund. They would give gold and they would give silver. But all of those people who couldn't give gold or silver, they still found a way to give because they all wanted to help rebuild the temple for God. So if they couldn't give gold or silver, they decided to give wine or grains or olive oil. Anything they could, they decided to give it. And this was used to buy the materials. One of the most important materials that they bought was cedar wood. Now remember, in the time of King Solomon, a long time ago, when King Solomon was building the first temple in Jerusalem for God, he used cedar wood, and he used cedar wood specifically that was shipped from Lebanon. So they put all of this wood in a boat, and then they took it across the sea, and it was brought all the way to Jerusalem. So again, for this temple that they were building for God, they still did the same thing and bought the cedar wood from Lebanon. Now, the Levites were the ones who were put in charge of the project, and the project was building the temple. But everyone decided to come and to help with the hard work, even the priests, and they worked and they worked and they worked. And finally, when there was a foundation, when there was a base, they decided it is time for a Thanksgiving service. So they gathered all of the people, and the priests blew their trumpets, and the Levites clashed their cymbals, and then they shouted out and they praised God, and they said, the Lord is good and his love is eternal. So this was all happening during the Thanksgiving service.
So now the money fund is growing and growing because everyone is contributing, even those who don't have gold.
giving.
Yeah, and the cedar wood has been brought just like the one that was in King Solomon's temple. And now the people are praising and they are happy and they are dancing and they are enjoying. But as this is happening, some old priests remembered the beautiful and wonderful temple that was in King Solomon's time, and they also remembered how it was crushed down and how it was destroyed. And in the middle of the ceremony, they began to cry. And they were crying and they were wailing. And remember, this was a ceremony, so people were happy and dancing, and now others have begun to cry. So there was confusion. But even amidst this confusion, their noises were heard far and wide.
So children, next time we'll learn what continues to happen with the people of Jerusalem and building the temple. But right now, what we learn from this story of ours, we learn very many things. First of all, we learn that we should always give, because remember, the people kept on giving and giving and giving so they could have a temple for God. Even the ones who didn't have anything, they still continued to give and give and give anything that they could. They found a way to give something so they could help build the temple. So the same way, we should also learn to give. And if we don't have money to give, we find something else to do that will help in building God's temple. Second of all, children, we learn that we should not wait to have somewhere special or somewhere perfect to worship God. Because remember, the people of Jerusalem did not have their temple yet. They were still building it. But Zerubbabel and Joshua decided they will still take time and worship God, even though the temple is not ready yet. So just like them, we don't have to wait for somewhere special or somewhere perfect or somewhere specific to go and worship God, but we should always take time to choose to worship God. And finally, we also learn that when God asks us to do something, or when we are doing something for God, we should do it the best way we can. We should always do it to the best of our ability. The same way, the people of Jerusalem did not just get any wood to make the temple. No, they got the same wood that King Solomon got in his time, the expensive and special cedar wood, just to build the temple, for God. So the same way that these people did their best to build for God, we should do our best when we are doing something for God. So now it's time for us to sing our song. So everyone stand up and help us sing this song. Okay kids, it's time for us to sing our song. Now we've just learned that when the temple had been laid, the foundation, the Jews had a Thanksgiving service. And they said, the Lord is good and his love is eternal. So now we're gonna sing a song about how God is good and how his love endures forever. So everyone stand up and help us sing this song. Give thanks to the Lord our God and King. His love endures forever. For he is good, he is above all things. His love endures forever. Sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise. Forever God is faithful. Forever our craft. Now remember, we said that when the people had put the foundation for the temple and it was completed, they had a Thanksgiving service, and where the priests blew their trumpets and the Levites clashed their cymbals, and they said, "The Lord is good and his love is eternal." So now, to remember this story, we are going to make a pair of cymbals that you can pretend you're clashing and clashing as you shout, "The Lord is good and his love is eternal." So first thing we've done is we've cut pieces of manila paper into circles. So we have 2 big circles and 2 small circles, and this is good. We're going to use them to create our symbols. And then we have strips, 2 strips, and we're going to use these to create our handles. So you can decorate your symbols and color them whatever color you want, however you want, but I'm going to show you how to put them together first. So the first thing you need to do is I need you to take your smaller circles, and your smaller circles are the ones that are going to be holding your handles. So I want you to attach your handles to your smaller circles using a stapler. Okay, so do that to both of your smaller circles. Once that is done, we're going to start working on our bigger circles. So the thing with our bigger circles is we need to make them carve a little bit in on themselves. So I want you to take a pair of scissors and cut small lines along your circles. So 1 line on that side, and then another line going in the opposite direction. And do the same thing on the other side. So you're only going to do this on 2 sides of your circle. And you're going to do this for both of your circles. So 1 line on one side and another on the other side. Okay? And then we'll do it for the other half of our circles. Okay. Then I want you to fold in all those parts, but not completely. Just fold so it curves all on its own. Do the same on your other circle. Just where you folded until, just fold them round so it looks like it's curving. So we look like we have a curved shape all around our circle. And then I want you to connect those parts. So you can use a stapler or you can use glue, but take one side where you made a line and slightly pull it over the other side and then staple. Don't pull it too much, just a little bit, then you can staple. So we'll do the same thing to our other circle. So once that piece is attached, next thing we need to do is we need to connect our handles to our symbols. So for this you can use glue or you can use a stapler. So just take your stapler and connect the handles to the symbols. And do the same thing on your other symbol. And the final thing we need to do is we need to write where this verse comes from, where this story is from, and what we learn from it. So you can write it on one symbol or you can write it on both. So this verse comes from the book of Ezra. Our story comes from the book of Ezra. Ezra chapter 2 and 3. Ezra chapter 2 and chapter 3. So just write that on both of your symbols. Ezra chapter 2 and 3. So that you always remember this is where our story comes from. Ezra 2 and 3. Okay. Once you do that, you're ready to start clashing your symbols. So they look like symbols, and when we see this and when we read this story, we'll remember what happened with the Jews once they had built just the foundation, and how they gave thanks and how they celebrated and clashed their symbols and said the Lord is good and his love is eternal. So this is our craft for today, and that has been our lesson for today. We'll see you next time. Bye.